Hello everyone and welcome to Book Talk Tuesday. Today we are going to be talking about the book Unwind by Neal Shusterman. So Unwind is a dystopian fiction book. It's also a horror book, of course, since this is our October horror book month. And it is also a gory book. So if you like reading about blood and guts and gore and stuff like that, then you probably want to check this book out. So this book, as I said, is dystopian, which means it takes place in the future. And it deals with a time after supposedly we fought a second civil war, and the second civil war was over reproductive rights, which means we had people that are pro-choice versus people that are pro-life, and they sort of went to war over that. So sort of the consensus, the rule that they ended up coming up with was that every single life is allowed to live until they are in between the ages of 13 and 18. Or 13 and 17, I can't remember. So once you reach that that age gap, your parents can have you unwound. What is unwinding, you ask? Well, that basically means you get sent to a facility and then they surgically remove bits and pieces of your body and use them in organ donation. I told you this book was a little gory. This book deals with the story of 3 kids. We have one boy named Connor, whose parents think he's a bad kid and just wants him to be unwound because they're sick and tired of dealing with him and dealing with him getting into trouble. The second character is a girl named Risa. Risa is in an orphanage because there are lots and lots of kids in orphanages. So once certain kids don't get adopted within these orphanages and they don't really have any place within society, they're sent to be unwound. So that's Risa. And then finally, we have our last character whose name is Lev. And Lev is a really interesting case. Lev's family is sort of a really, I don't want to say religious, but they follow sort of a way of life where they have a child and that child is then sort of revered and then is sent to be unwound, sort of as a ritual practice. And he realizes, even though he's been raised to think that being unwound is a great service, he realizes that he actually wants to live. So he goes on the run and he ends up running into Risa and Connor, and the 3 of them work together to escape this terrible fate that's been put upon them. So this book is full of action, full of adventure, lots of twists and turns. It's also part of a series. So if you like reading a series, it's 4 books. So this continues on and on. I've only read the first book so far. And the ending of this book, all I'm going to say is that it blew my mind. Like, the ending of this book just, I remember reading it in a book club for one of my college classes, and all of us read it together, and on our last day after we had all finished the book, we sat around our table and just sort of stared at each other because we didn't know where to start or what to say because we were all so shocked at the ending of this book. So it's definitely one I recommend checking out. It's crazy, it's interesting, it's exciting, and that's Unwind by Neal Shusterman. So check it out, and happy reading.